G'day. I thought I'd make a short video this morning about the new coal branch that I'm putting in place over the top of my storage sidings, and it seemed a little easier to do it via video than to write it out and take photos, so that's what I'm doing. I'm also testing a new microphone, so that gives which will hopefully give us a little bit better sound. As you can see, I'm standing next to my storage sidings. The back of the storage lines here and slightly above is going to run a narrow shelf about 220 millimetres wide that I'm calling the coal branch. Now, it's only designated up here as the coal branch, of course, because it's my layout. I can do anything I want, and I could turn it into a small industrial switching layout. For that matter, I don't even really need to attach it to the rest of the layout. I could turn it into a little HO shunting layout or something like that. But at the moment, it's going to be a branch line which will curve out from Rayworth, which is on the other side of the room from where I'm standing, curve around behind where the camera's sitting now, and come up and land on this platform that I'm building down here. Now, this is 12mm ply sitting on top of some risers I'm making from pieces of 2x1 and 1x1, and it sits against this piece of, I suppose it's actually 150mm by 20mm pine, and I've used it as a backing board to sit the risers or the supports on, because I wanted something that would actually be solid right along the back of the line. I didn't want anything to be able to fall through or be difficult to get at, so I wanted to dress it up a little bit. So that's why this is sitting along rather than on two posts. Because the riser sits something like that and will sit in there. Rather than putting another post in, I thought I'll put a wall in, and that'll separate physically and I suppose visually the coal branch. There'll be a backboard or a backing plate, backdrop that will run along here, right along here, and will be similar to the backdrop on the other side, which you can see there. Okay, you'll have to excuse the mess because in this room there's a fair bit of track laying and wiring going on, and as you may be able to see, there's wires dangling down and sticking out from this part of the track over here. Now, as you can see from this shot, the hole in the wall has now been sort of backdropped, and I've actually got the lights installed. And when I've got a train running on this section of the layout, I'll actually take some footage of the trains as they go through that section. But at the moment, I'm just trying to get the track finished up to the entry to the coal branch, so that when I come through and I wire it, I'm wiring the whole layout. So the trains leave Rayworth at this point at a double switch, which is just behind that plastic container. We've got that out of the way. They run up, the track transitions at that point, just there, with a from code 100 rail to from code 125 rail to code 100, and then the track leaves the yard, runs along that line there, and where the track stops is where the curve starts. And the reason I haven't put a piece of track in there is I'm building it now as we go. The track curves around here, and as you can see, the main line disappears behind, near the backdrop, and then it runs around this curve, and that's where the gap is at the moment. I've got to fill that with a piece of road bed that you can see sitting down there with my camera cover on it, and it will eventually attach to this sort of 220mm wide shelf. Continuing along there'll be a point or a switch about where that electrical cord is dangling down from the lighting rig, and there'll be a piece of backdrop along there as well. But as you can see, the trains actually run underneath that shelf, and that's the throat to the storage sidings. That's the storage sidings control panel in the front, in the foreground, you can see, and basically the ply continues along and then sits along this shelf I've made, I suppose, along there. Part of the reason I'm making this video is because, again, as I said, I wanted to test the microphone I've just purchased for it. the camera, but I also wanted to check whether or not, I suppose I wanted to outline for people who read my blog, I suppose some of the decisions I'm making. This shelf that you can see sitting here, when it's installed and I start to put track on it, I've got to make a couple of decisions about it. I've got to make a decision about how many points it's going to have, how many tracks it's going to have, whether I should have 2 or 3. So on a 220mm wide shelf, 3/0 scale 32mm gauge tracks basically uses the entire width. Do I leave things a little bit less crowded and just put 1-2 tracks in? Do I run trains off the end here, back this way, in this part here, and suspend them obviously higher than this track here, but do I turn that into a small engine facility? Do I make the tracks here straight or curved? While I've got a rough idea of what I need as a basic facility for the coal mine, or the coal tipple that will sit at the other end of the line here, I haven't yet made any of those decisions, because I tend to find that while I'll rough out on a piece of paper and on plans how many points I have and how many tracks I might put in and these sorts of things, the exact final decisions don't actually get made until I've really finally got woodwork done and track about to be laid. When I can get a point in my hands and put it down on the piece of roadbed that I've got available to me, and I can make some final decisions. At the moment, I'm inclined to just leave it fairly straightforward, make a 2-line yard to allow 1 train to arrive at each time, run the train up under the tipple, remove the brake van, run around the train, run it under the tipple, run the loco around the wagons, put the brake van back on the train, and then run it back down the line. However, several different scenarios lend themselves to my thinking, and one of those is whether or not I should curve the track very gently, whether I should add a 3rd line, and lots of other options. I'm currently working on those, and I'm going to, I suppose, make those decisions over the next few days. The other big, I suppose, bit of news in terms of this layout is that I finally completed the circular track right around the room, so I can run a train around the entire layout when it's wired up. And as it's not going to be wired up for probably another week or so, it's ready to be wired up, but I don't want to wire it up until the coal branch is it's basically completed, the approach line anyway. It's going to take me a little while longer. So there won't be any footage of trains running around the layout until I've actually finished things. I like to delay my pleasure. Okay, so that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching, and till next time.